load up. Yes.
Okay. He's doing preparation to live stream. All right. So, Shego, I shared the meeting schedule with you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Sean, I shared that with you too. Right. Use my wife's phone to share it back with me.
I want to send the live email now.
All right. The YouTube is up now.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So, Pastor Wale, we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube live. Is presently up now. I need to just get this link now. And Sean, I sent you a link. So check and see if that YouTube is going on. All right, good. Okay, this is 7:58. Let me go back to my Zoom room. All right. Then I need to on the recording of this one. Sure, I sent you a link. So check and see all right. All right. Okay, this is 7:58. Let me go back to my Zoom room. Okay, streaming. Okay. Then I need to on the recording of this one. Sure, I sent you a link. All right.
The YouTube is live already. I've confirmed that.
Okay, everything is live. Wow, amazing. Minutes before.
Cheryl might need to mute her mic at our end because we're hearing like the
feedback. And yes. Just mute. No, she was just trying to check the YouTube.
Okay.
So since it's live now, in the Zoom room, can you get any echo from me? Any echo?
No, not at all. It's perfect now.
And just to check my my audio too, is it okay?
It's perfect, sir. Perfect, awesome. Sir.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, so it's 8 on the dot, and I don't do Africa time in Nigeria, so we are kickstarting. A minute, please. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I can see people trying to join us. We have Mercy Okumbo. Yeah, we have Temitope Daniel. We have quite a number of amazing persons, and I know that other people are trying to join us. It's 8:01 p.m. here in Nigeria, and I want to welcome everyone to Leadership Convo. Leadership Convo for October edition. This is a leadership conversation we have on a monthly basis. Please mute your mic. Shagun, please, you could help me mute mics as people come in. Mute mic. I'm not sure I can go through my settings for now. And I'm still seeing that I'm to admit persons, so I don't know why it's still showing. So please help me see to that at the back end. All right, guys. Good evening, everybody. Welcome on board to Leadership Convo. We are set. We are live already on YouTube, live on Zoom. And the idea about Leadership Convo is we are leadership enthusiasts like you and I, people that are passionate about, improving on their leadership ability, can, rub minds with leadership sensei, leadership expert, leadership people that are pragmatically improving on their leadership and helping others to improve their leadership. All right. So it's for all, it's for everyone serious about their leadership, irrespective of what sphere of influence they are. And tonight's edition is not going to be a list of the value we have always been adding to persons or to people. And our theme tonight is becoming an effective leader. Becoming an effective leader. But before we start, why we try to, in a way to allow others be a full part of everything happening here, I want to do something. Please, you could help me type in the chat, just to be sure that you can also hear me. Type in the chat your name and where you are joining us from. Please, we want to know your name and then where you are joining us from. So your name and where you are joining us from. All right, thank you. I can see Temitope from Ede, Osun State. Benson is joining from Lagos. Thank you, Benson. Gabriel Ngozi is joining from Rivers State. Amazing, amazing. All right, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. All right, there's a second question I want to ask you. I usually ask this from time to time, and I'm still going to ask that in this conversation. And the question is, okay, I can see Mayo joining from Akure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's going to be 90 minutes packed full of value. I want to ask you a question. If you are told to delete all the apps on your phone, on your mobile device, the phone is something that all of us, it is something so ubiquitous, something we use, something is like it's almost becoming tantamount to oxygen. That's our phone, our mobile phone. So if you have to delete all the apps on your phone and you have to be left with 3, what apps are you going to leave behind? Help me in the chat box, please. Type what are the chats you're going to leave behind? The apps you're going to leave behind. Let's see. What 3 apps are you going to leave behind? You are giving the instruction as if your life depends on it. Delete everything, all the apps on your mobile phone. What 3 apps will you leave behind? Let me see. It means those 3 apps are something you cannot, like, if they are out of your phone, you can't survive. So let's have it coming. Let's have it coming. So I'm waiting for you. Okay, so people are ruminating, they're thinking about it. What? Oh, someone said Gmail, WhatsApp. Oh, WhatsApp. All right. I'm waiting for more. In fact, you gave us 2 out of 3. So Gmail, WhatsApp. Someone say WhatsApp, Piggy Vest, Gmail. This person loves money. Piggy Vest, Gmail, WhatsApp. All right, let me have someone else. Please come up. I say Twitter, WhatsApp, video, or music player. That means you can't do without music or video player, then WhatsApp, and then Twitter. That's Temitope down there. Please come up. Someone say Chrome, Gmail, and WhatsApp. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, someone say phone. No, you can't just tell me phone. I'm asking the apps on your phone right now, the apps on your phone. So someone say WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube. Amazing. Chrome, WhatsApp, Bible. Bible. Amazing. All right. Chrome. This Chrome is not too clear. Because with Chrome you can download. This person is wise. It's a wise person. With Chrome you can download other apps. Okay. So let me have a last comment, then I'll go to another last question, and then we have our speaker up. And so I'm still waiting for one more input right now. Help me. Who is the last person? This is leadership convo, like I said. Okay, someone said Chrome is gateway to many other things. Of course. Maya, when you see that person want to hack us. Yes, Chrome is gateway to many other things. So if you say Chrome now, Abba. All right, so who is giving us the last one? I need one last comment, and then we are. Okay, I think I have my last. I think I have my last now. Someone said exactly, wow. You can see. Yeah, I'm smart. Stevie, you want to use it for us, Abby? He said exactly. So who's giving me the last one? All right, this is the second question I want to ask you. I want to ask you the second question. And the question is this. If the word perception is a very critical word when it comes to leadership, in fact, all spheres of life. So if you were asked that your life depends on perception, your existence, your relevance, your greatness, that everything about you depends on how widely you can perceive. I want to ask you, what is that one thing? What is that one thing that you would want to perceive correctly? What is that one thing that you would want to perceive correctly? Let me see your answer in the talk to me in the chat room. What one thing would you want to perceive correctly? If your life depends on your chances of success, of significance, of greatness depends on your perception. Someone said my judgment. Iola said my judgment. Someone said my identity. All right, there is no, these are not good or bad answer, no yes or no answer. We just want to, it's just to help you, think and say, okay, like, what would I want to perceive correctly? I don't want to miss this thing at all. Someone said God's voice. That's another hack. That's another hack. All right, let me see. Someone say finance. I mean, this person cannot play with money. Someone say wisdom. Amazing. Can I get more comment? Okay. Yeah. Let the chat room be alive, be full of life. Someone say ruminating. Which one? So one person, 3 options are coming to your head, and then you're looking, which one should come first? Someone say my career. Amazing. If I get 2 more responses now, we'll go into the next thing, and then we move in. Pastor Wale is so set for the will of God for me. This is another hack. This same person keep coming with hack. The will of God for me. And there's also conviction. Wow. Everything said so far has been awesome, has been amazing, because it all shows our, when it comes to priority, what you want to prioritize, right? And then so priority is a matter of your own conviction, it's optional for you. So thank you so much for participating in this. And if you think you need to think, deeply on this so that you can begin to see that area you need to, zoom in on, and zero in on, and so that you can know how to pinpoint certain things about your life, please do. This is Leadership Convo one more time. And then what we'll do here is basically talk about leadership. And not just talk about leadership, but talk about leadership in a way that it can impact you, in a way that it can add value to us. And then tonight is going to be an awesome time, because our facilitator, my revered mentor is around. One of my revered mentors is around. I don't know. He put up a post on Facebook, and then, in fact, I've not been able to. This is my wife. I showed that thing. I said, my friend, Pastor Wale now. Amazing. It's been coming from years back. That's since 2008. Pastor Wale has been so instrumental to my becoming, helping me navigate life, being there for me, showing up at critical times, critical moment of my life, and then I know that these are the people, shoulders I've leaned on over time. Of course, there was a season when when you're just trying to navigate and find yourself, and then, but I was so glad for the reconnection. So glad to have him in my life. And then this is something I also need to tell certain persons here, because one of the things lacking in our generation right now, 8:15, Pastor Wale is going to come up live, and the conversation is going to begin fully. But I want to say this. I mentioned that 2008, and that's 16 years ago, because what I see among young persons now, Gen Z, even some late millennia, is that the ability to sustain relationship is not there. They don't have that staying power. And this staying power in relationship even affect other areas of their life. So you see someone that, okay, some people are, what do we call it? Is it fair weather friends? When is the good times, you stay with the person, the bad times, then you're away. No. I tell people, one of the definitions of friendship I learned from one of my mentors is that a friend is someone whose success is not a threat to you. And a friend is someone whose tough time, whose difficulty you stay with them in their tough seasons. All right. So, and this even goes to all the different cadres of relationships in our lives, which, so it's a call to stay, hold that relationship, treasured relationship, value them. Even when they talk, when they give you feedback, because your mentor is going to give you feedback, not minding how you feel, not minding, he doesn't have to look at you, he doesn't have to tell you smiling about it, all right? So it's a call for someone to, value your relationships, value mentorship, value assets, and honor those assets. Do not trivialize it. All right, so let's get into this conversation as I bring Pastor Wale ONAJOKO on board. He has given me the permission to call him either Pastor Wale or to call him Wale ONAJOKO. And then for this conversation, we're going to have him on board for this is my pastor. He's Pastor Wale to me, okay? All right, so I'm going to read his bios, and he was my pastor on campus, and then he has, every now and then when we share with it never ends. There's always something to unpack. Every time you talk to me on phone, sir, Zoom call, video call with my family, with my wife, I'm always like, there's always, you might not see my hand, my pen, and there's my table, there is always shit. So as I'm mentioning books and all that, I'm just writing them, downloading them, getting on my system and doing stuff with them. Thank you for being a blessing. All right, I'm just going to read Pastor Wale's profile now. We'll get on. Wale ONAJOKO is a conference speaker, a prolific writer, and management consultant. He currently serves as a consultant with CTOS Tech. He works as a technology consultant with iMac Health, one of America's leading healthcare companies. With over 14 years experience that cut across public, private, and not-for-profit sector, Wale has acted as catalyst for capacity building, skills development, and change management for organizations in USA, UK, Canada, and Nigeria. He's the convener of the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Development Conference. And personally, he didn't have this, but I'm adding it. He's happily married to his wife, Wesley ONAJOKO, and they are blessed with 3 children. The family is based in Austin, Texas, of course, United States of America. Please make welcome Pastor Wale ONAJOKO. Good to have you on board, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Pastor Femi. I want to thank everyone for joining. Excuse me. I want to thank Pastor Femi for inviting me. One thing people don't know about me, I can be very, very shy. So while you were talking about me, I tried to turn off my camera because sometimes it's difficult for me. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much for having me. Excuse me. Yeah, it's really good, the representation we have here. I know we have about 280 people that are registered to attend, but actually I know like usually it's about 5 to 10%, and that would eventually turn up. So it tells me something about those that are on today, that you are leaders and you are ready to take your leadership to the next level. I'm a teacher of the word by calling. I'm a teacher and I'm also a pastor. So while talking, if I get into that realm, please, I ask for your forgiveness in advance. So I ask for your forgiveness in advance. I'm very passionate about leadership. I'm very passionate about management. And one of the things that I've given myself to study in the last 10 years is what makes for lasting organizations, what makes for lasting leadership, what makes for lasting impact. Those are the things that I've given myself to studying in the last 10 years. And I realized that, from reading great management books like Good to Great, Built to Last, studying the success stories of great organizations, I have learned one key thing, that everything that works is founded in principles. And the more I understand, the more I realize that the foundation of lasting principle is found in the Word of God. So I'm going to be getting some of those principles I'm going to be sharing today from the Word of God and from research. So these are not just my thoughts; these are products of research. These are from, I always assume that I'm a product of transgenerational sources of wisdom, people that have handed over these things to us. So I'm going to share my screen very briefly so I could, I'm going to be sharing my slide. I know I have very limited time. Let me go ahead and share. Okay. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen. I'm trying to share now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can see it.
All right.
Go ahead.
So this is a leadership conversation. This is leadership conversation. So I will try as much as possible to make it conversational as much as I can. So becoming an effective leader, actually that topic itself is very loaded. Number one, three things there: becoming. Number two, effective. Number three is leadership. So, and then one of the greatest authorities on leadership, one of the fathers of leadership, Warren Bennis, he said, leadership is like beauty. He said it's hard to define, but you know it when you see it. So you can't really pinpoint what leadership is, but when leadership is absent, you know. So I know each of us, we have our view and perception of leadership. So I would want, in the next 1 minute, I would just want you to, type perhaps a word, two words, whatever describes leadership to you, whatever your view of leadership. If you can just let me paste it in the chat. I just want to, let's begin with that conversation of what leadership is, what it is about. It doesn't have to be right. It's, like Pastor Femi was saying earlier, it's, it's the way you see it. There is no right or wrong or right view of leadership. I just want to understand what our view of leadership is. So very quickly, I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds, whoever wants to, participate in this conversation. What is leadership to you? What do you understand by leadership? I am going to try to see leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Awesome. Leadership is taking responsibility. That's, I think, Dr. Orifumishe Joshua said leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Aiden Brand says leadership is taking responsibility. That's powerful. Faith Osaguono says leadership to me means the heart of serving others and leading the way. My God. Gabriel, oh wow, the thoughts are really coming in. He said leadership is organizing people and things to achieve a set of purpose. Wow. Stephen Adeyemi said leadership is responsibility, sacrifice. Wow, wow. I think this is the convergence of leaders. These are awesome thinking and thoughts. Leadership is service. Awesome. Guiding people rightly to achieve a goal. Thank you. Thank you, Adeshe Ebenezer. Leadership is service. Guiding people rightly to achieve a goal. Timitoko Daniel says, leadership to me is leading and guiding people. Awesome. All right. Okay. Now, before we continue, Let me give you another question. Those are very wonderful thoughts. And I want to say something else. Now, let's all think about the greatest leader we know, perhaps around us, perhaps the one we've read in history. You know, what is one quality of leadership that you admire? Can you just post it? One quality of a leader that you really admire. Perhaps you think of a leader in history, Apostle Paul, you think of a political leader, J.F. Kennedy, you think of Nelson Mandela, you think of a leader in the music industry. What is one quality of a leader that just comes to your mind? Just one word. What do you admire in a leader? Selflessness, initiative, perseverance, discipline, humility. Pastor Femi, I think we can end this meeting. These people have seen everything I have to say. So passion, integrity. Wow, wow. Thank you. Sacrifice, character. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, all right. Wow. Diligence, heart of service. Awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. This is going to be really interesting. Intentionality. Pastor Femi, you know what I see is that I think everybody has seen what I have on my slides already. So I'll just I'll stay humble now. And let's just go about it now. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. This tells me the quality of people we have on. Because of my time, I will really just rush through now and get to the next thing. Becoming an effective leader. Now, okay, I'm trying to get. If you look at that slide, I know somebody said that. It said everything falls and rises on leadership. I have known and heard this for over 20 years. But the more I understand the concept of leadership, the more I realize that there is no truer statement. Everything falls and rises on leadership. Everything falls and rises on leadership. The more you understand leadership, the more you discover that what is limiting you to achieve the success is one key factor is leadership. Everything, perhaps in the home front, perhaps you're a student, perhaps you're a professional, you're a political leader, everything falls and rises on leadership. Perhaps you're a husband, you're a father, wherever God has called you, you know, wherever you bear that responsibility of leadership, everything falls and rises on leadership. So when you succeed, it's about your capacity to lead. And when you fail, it's always very easy to think it's about the other person, but it's still about you. Now, if you look at this guy, you know, I was really very fascinated when I saw that picture online. You know, it actually demonstrates what Dr. John Maxwell calls the law of the lead. And the law of the lead simply says leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. Leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. So if you are struggling to achieve success in any area of endeavor, now I've always seen people point, you know, I've been part of ministry and people point fingers. Oh, the people are not cooperating. I wish I had people who are more diligent. I wish, but then I realize that usually it's not about the people. It's about your capacity to lead. It's about your capacity to lead. So the more effective you are, the more you raise the bar on your leadership. Now, this guy in there may not even be aware that what is limiting him is that lead. No matter what he does, no matter how much he struggles, is limited by that lead. So what is preventing you from achieving success, what is preventing you from moving forward, usually is your capacity to lead. I've seen people who are very anointed. I've seen people who are very talented, but they are unable to achieve what I know their capacity, you know, what they know their potential is, because they do not understand this simple concept. of the law of the lead. So increasing your leadership ability also has a multiplier effect on your effort towards success. So sometimes it's not just about more hard work. It's about raising the lead on your leadership. So that is one thing I want to do as an introduction. So the next thing is you must know what your leads are. For you to become effective, you must know what your leads are. And the leads can be anything. They can be several things. You know, one critical lead that I've seen with people is that they lack understanding of the concept of leadership. I believe some of the greatest challenges we have in Africa is our lack of understanding of the concept of leadership, of the concept of the purpose of leadership. So that may be a lead. And for most of us, we read so much about leadership. On an average, many of us have books on leadership, but still we don't understand leadership. Somebody said leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I think one person that has popularized that saying is Dr. John Maxwell. But another person that helped me to understand the concept of influence is Dr. Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe said, "What is influence?" And you know, it made me understand that influence is about discovery of your place in life. It's about growing to your maximum capacity and being able to impact your world with the fullness of who you are. Influence is from the word in, flow. What is in you flowing out and attracting the world around you? So you must understand that leadership is beyond position. Leadership, it does not matter where you are in the organizational hierarchy. You can lead from bottom, you can lead from the middle, you can lead from the top. So you must understand that each one of us have been called to lead in an area of influence. So having or thinking that leadership is about the other person, is about the boss, is about the manager, is a warped understanding of the concept of leadership. And the more you understand that leadership is not about position, that is the beginning and the foundation of your own leadership journey. So if you have been called to be a housewife, you know, God has given you a responsibility to lead your home. If you have been called as a husband, you are a leader. If you are a student, you can, there is, as long as there are people around you whose, you know, that your action can impact or influence, you are a leader. So one of the lead of leadership is people's understanding of the concept of leadership. Leadership is not about position. Leadership is not about self-aggrandizement. Leadership is about service. It's about serving others. It's about finding yourself. It's about growing yourself. It's about giving yourself. That is one of my most admired concepts of leadership. Self-discovery, self-development, and self-deployment. So first thing that is a lead on people's ability to lead effectively is they do not have understanding of the concept of leadership. And another lead on your leadership may be your own character. Now, my definition of character is to live in alignment with your highest values. That is what character means. Character means, you know, you are not professing something and living out a different, you know, what you profess is how you live. So character matters in leadership. So maybe one thing that is a lead on your ability to move forward in your leadership journey is not having that character. You believe hard work is important. You believe diligence is important, but you are unwilling to do it. You lack character, discipline. Another thing is consciousness. You know, you do not even know who you have. You do not know what your potential is. Another thing that could be a lead on your leadership, that could be a lead on your leadership is competence, knowledge, and skill gap. And it could be a belief system. I got some questions and people asked about how can I, it's very critical. I'm going to get into all of that. People not believing in themselves, how you see yourself. It could be a lead. Fear could be a lead on your leadership. An environmental factor, like I said earlier, one of the challenges we have in Africa is our concept of leadership. It's a big factor. For us, we believe leadership is about self-aggrandizement. Leadership, it's about self-promotion. We believe leadership is about staying and others serving us. All of those are leads on leadership effectiveness. So for you, the list is endless. You must know your own leads before you are able to remove that lead. All right, I will go to the next slide. Now, I know many of us have put this in, what the qualities of an effective leader. I think virtually everything I put here, somebody made mention of it. So qualities of an effective leader: they are vision-driven, they lead by example, they demonstrate integrity, they communicate effectively, they make hard decisions. Leaders motivate and inspire. Leaders adapt to change, and leaders empower others. So these are critical elements of an effective leader. These are characteristics, and the list goes on and on and on. But I'm not going to be focusing on this today. I'm just going to be I'll go straight because of our time. I will go straight, into what I want to talk about today. I will just be teaching on certain principles. I'm hoping I'll be able to touch on about 6 key principles that can help each of us to develop our own leadership ability, to develop our own leadership. That is what I'm going to be focusing on today. Now, how can you become an effective leader? How can you become an effective leader? We've talked about the characters of leadership, and that's not what I want to focus on today. I just want to focus on certain principles. And, one of the reasons why I love principles is that they are timeless. Principles work anywhere, regardless of the situation, regardless of the time, regardless of the culture. As long as you apply those principles will work for you. When you read the Bible, it's the same principle. When you see things that are working, it's the same principle. So I'm going to be going to certain foundational principles for anyone, regardless of where they are today, to become effective leaders. Now, the first one, I believe, and this is very, very critical. The first step towards leadership, discovering and deployment of your own leadership is discover yourself, self-discovery. And I have followed and read a couple of, I've drank from the stream of knowledge of some of the world's greatest leaders. And one of the things I've been able to distill from my knowledge is that leadership is about the discovery of your own ingenuity. Everyone has the capacity to lead. Everyone has the capacity to influence. Everyone has the capacity to serve. The only difference is that my own leadership sphere will be different from yours. Some people have been called to lead in the in the field of engineering. Others have been called to lead in the educational sector. Others have been called to lead in the political space. Others have been called to lead in ministry. So the difference is not about where you are called to lead. It's about you discovering your own self, discovering who you are. Who am I? What is my purpose? What is my passion? And I think, this first thing is very, very personal to me. It's one of the elements of my call. I'm very passionate about this, helping people discover their own ingenuity, helping people discover their own field in life. God has called each of us to a place of service, to a field of endeavor. Now, many years ago, I think I just, I'm talking of about 23 years ago. I was walking on the streets of Abeokuta. There's a place, it's called Onikolobo in Abeokuta. And I saw something, a quote on the wall, and that quotation has never left me. It says, do not struggle to do what others have found grace to do. It said, find your place. It said, your grace is in your place. I'm going to repeat that. Do not struggle to do what others have found grace to do. It said, find your place. He said, your grace is in your place. But the issue with many of us is that we are trying to be like other people. We are trying to lead where God has not called us to lead. Now, if you look at the topic, it says, becoming an effective leader. Effectiveness, you cannot talk about effectiveness outside of purpose. You cannot talk about effectiveness outside of purpose. Effectiveness is your ability to achieve a goal. It's to attain a purpose. So the beginning of your own leadership is discovering who you are, discovering your purpose, discovering where God has called you to, discovering your own passion, your own talent, discovering that seed of greatness that is in you. Discover what brings life in you. That is the foundation of your own leadership. Discover what makes you cry. Discover what you love so much. For those who have known me, somebody said to me, it said, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. It said, I will always mention purpose. Whether I'm joking, whether I'm talking, there is something about purpose that is so strong in my heart, because that is a portion of my calling, discovering purpose, helping others to find their purpose. So the foundation of your own leadership is to find your place in life. What has God called you to do? It's not about position. I was thinking about this, and I said, for some of you, you would think, oh, if only I can become the president of Nigeria. Becoming the president of Nigeria, of course, is going to give you positional leadership, but it's not going to make you a leader. Excuse me. But there is a place God has called you to be. So your leadership seat is in the place of your purpose. So first, discover yourself, discover your purpose. Another thing is that leadership is a continuous, unending journey of self-discovery, growing and giving your best. It doesn't ever end. Of self-discovery. Don't try to imitate other people. Find yourself. Many of us, we are lost in a career that God has not called us to. And so you are a misfit. And people are not respecting you there. You may be earning money, but there is something in your heart that is unfulfilled. There is still an emptiness despite how much money you're making. Why? Because you are a misfit. You are in a place that God has not called you to. And while you're doing that, you keep celebrating other people. You know why you're celebrating them? Because they have found their own purpose. So the number one, the foundation of leadership effectiveness is discovering yourself, finding your place, finding your purpose, and growing in there, staying where God has called you. And I said, serving your purpose well to advance humanity is true leadership. Serving your purpose well to advance humanity is true leadership. Now, I'm going to go quickly because of my time. Number two, to become an effective leader, a core principle is to develop confidence. Develop confidence. Confidence it's magical. Confidence is power. Confidence, the word confidence is one of the things that, I've been studying. I have not been able to get enough of that concept. Confidence is power. Confidence is magical. The people whom you celebrate and respect, it's not because they're the best, but because one key thing is because they have found their place and they have developed the confidence. So after finding your place, another key thing is to have confidence in your own ability. Confidence to know that your life makes a difference. Know that, I may not be like the other person, but I, have confidence in your own sense of somebodyness, that my life makes a difference. I may not be able to do what others are doing, but there is something I can do. There is a value that my life can have. And I tell you, great leaders are not the most powerful. They're not the most intelligent. They're not the best in the past, but it's about the heart. There is something about them that they believe that they have something to offer their world. We could call it faith. We emphasize the place of faith in God, but we don't emphasize faith in our own self. We must have faith in our own self, in the deposit. You see, there is a measure of God in the life of every man. And without confidence, you cannot let those things out for serve your world. God has given you great ideas that the world around you needs. God has given you, you have this dream. You want to start a business. You want to step into marriage. You want to, you have an idea that could solve a great problem, but you are thinking, nobody around me has ever done it. Who told you? The world may just be waiting for you. So it takes confidence to step out of yourself to serve. I wrote that our world is a product of visions. Leaders are those who have confidence to bring unseen reality from the unseen world and bring it into reality. It takes confidence to create. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in who you are. Have confidence that you have what it takes to make impact in your world. Confidence is magical. A philosopher said, confidence is the magic key that unlocks the door of supply. See, God makes man in his image, and we are made after his likeness. There is a portion of God on our inside. And the Bible says, out of our belly shall flow the rivers of living water. Talking about influence again. There is something inside each of us that the world needs. But if you don't believe you have it, you are not going to let it out. If you don't believe that what you have makes a difference, you're not going to let it out. So that confidence is what bets power for influence. Believe that you have it. Don't see yourself from the prism of your past limitation, of your background, of what others have said about you, about their opinion. No. See yourself as God has seen you. Don't let anyone limit you. Define your life based on what God has said. He said, you are the light of the world, the light of the world. You are a leader. You are an influencer. You are a solution to the problem of the world. That is leadership. But if you don't have that confidence, you won't let the light that is inside of you shine. Develop confidence in who you are. Confidence in your dreams, in your vision. Confidence in your potential. It's not about what you have now. It's about what you are capable of becoming. It's a seed of leadership inside you. It takes confidence to bring it out. And one thing, I must say this before I go. One of the hard decisions I've made in the last couple of years is I don't, stay away from any relationship that belittles you. I don't know why I'm saying that. Stay away from any relationship that belittles you. Don't say it's this thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about your belief system is so powerful. So when you stay around people that don't value you, when you stay around people that don't respect you, when you stay around people that don't honor the grace, your peculiarity, your uniqueness, there is a virus of the mind that just pollutes your thinking. And you begin to believe that maybe I'm not just worth much. I've cut off relationships that are so important. I said, no, it doesn't matter who they are. You are bound to love everyone, but you are not bound to be in friendship or close relation with anyone. Love is key, but you don't have to be in the. You don't have to force yourself to be in a. I've resigned my appointment. I've resigned very key relation. My appointment. When I first began my first job, I was getting. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say this online. But one key thing I've learned to do is to go where I am celebrated. Don't be around people who tolerate you. It kills your leadership potential. I'm not saying you should resign your job, but I've had to resign my job because I feel this is not, it doesn't matter. I would rather go hungry and maintain my dignity, the power within me, rather than be around people that don't value the value that I carry. So develop confidence. It's very powerful. I was quoting the words of Jesus. He said, all things, a man came to him one day to heal, and he said, if you will. And, Jesus said to him, he said, did you just say that? Did you just say, if I will? And he made a very profound statement. He said, all things are possible to him who believes. So most times we are waiting on God, but God is waiting on us. God is thinking like, I wish they know who they are. I wish they know what they carry. God has placed everything in you. The only thing is that it may still be in the form of a seed that is yet untapped. It may still be in the form of a seed, but God has placed everything in you that you require to lead your world in the place of influence, to make impact, to make a difference. Everything is already in you, but you must have that confidence. You must believe that your life makes a difference. Martin Luther King Jr. calls it a sense of your own somebodyness. My life matters. There is something about you. Believe in your own capacity. Believe. It's so powerful. Believe is magical. I can close this meeting and stop what I'm saying now. If you will just understand this one word, believe is magical. Let me quote a scripture for you. You know what the Bible says? I think it's in Romans chapter 5, verse 2. It said, by faith, we have access into this grace. Now, there is a depth of grace. There is a depth of godly deposit of solution that is on your inside. But the only way you can access it is by having faith. It said through faith we have access into this grace. There is abundance of grace on your life. But without faith, without having that confidence, without believing, you cannot let it out. The world needs you. I'm going to leave that point now. And this discipline. There is nothing, when I was as a teenager and in my early 20s, I respect people, when they show their talent, their ability to speak, their ability to sing, whatever, the display of talent. But the more I understand potential, the more I understand the concept of leadership, the more I understand what God has deposited in man, the more I realize that talent is so cheap. Talent is like salt. It's everywhere. Everyone has talent. The difference is that my talent is different from yours. Yours is different from mine. And the reason is because God has deposited inside each of us what we need to fulfill the purpose for which He has called us. But let me tell you something. If you continue to live a life that is lacking in discipline, you will die without honor. He who lives without discipline will die without honor. You will live without fulfilling your potential. Leadership, it's about No, I think we have some background noise. So leadership, it's about leading yourself first. It's very easy to want to lead other people. But leadership begins with your own life. Lead yourself. Be disciplined. And I wrote that discipline is to submit yourself to the requirements of your vision. You have great dreams. You have great talents. But those talents, those great dreams are, you are being prevented from achieving them because you lack discipline to do what is necessary. Discipline is about consistency. Discipline is about submitting yourself to the dictates and the demands of the vision that God has given to you. Discipline is doing consistently what others do occasionally. You know, studying is good. We know prayer is good. We know telling the truth is good. We know what is good, but doing it is what makes the difference. So without discipline, potentials and talents are wasted. A research was conducted by one of America's top universities on the characteristics of those who succeed. And one of the things they find out that success, those who succeed are those who follow, who refuse to follow the path of least resistance. Don't do things because they are easy. Do things because it is what is required. You need to pray. You need to study. It doesn't matter how you feel. One day I told somebody we're going to be going out, and I said, sorry, I can't go again. And you know what she told me? He said, Wale, we can't live by our feelings. He said, you cannot continue to live by how you feel. So don't live by your feeling. Let your vision drive and direct your life. Subject yourself. Become a slave to your vision. Become a slave. Bring your body. Make it a slave to the vision that God has given to you. Do whatever it takes. And you know what? When you become disciplined, discipline brings honor to you as a leader. Discipline brings grace to your life. Discipline takes you to the very top. All through history, the greatest leaders are men of discipline. Talk about Daniel. The Bible says he proposed in his heart that he will not defile himself with a portion of the. It was not nobody forced him. He decided. So stay disciplined. I will keep it at that. Number 4 principle I'm going to be sharing is take on higher responsibility. Oh, Pastor Femi, are you saying something?
No, sir. I was just amazed with the slides. I said they're loaded. No, sir.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Responsibility. Excuse me, I think my screen is moving. So take on higher responsibility. I'm so excited because when people were sharing at the very beginning, it's a summary of all of the things I wanted to share. Everybody mentioned it, everyone who contributed, and you can see your own portion of the slide. Somebody said leadership is responsible. So we know these things. And if you look at my slide, one of the things I was talking about, the other day I was listening to Pastor Femi, and it said leadership it's a flow of your being. It flows out of your being. It's not about knowing the right thing to do. And that's one of the things I learned when I came to the United States. I realized that they don't read the way we read. I remember back then in university, people are carrying the latest leadership book. They're carrying the latest books of motivation and all of that. Then we have so much knowledge, but we are not really, So leadership is about doing what you know to be true. So I want us to live here, not just about gathering more knowledge, but about doing, taking, committing ourselves to taking action. So I'm saying it's about taking responsibility. One thing I made myself to stop doing is to stop complaining. It's something I'm conscious of now. Whenever I'm complaining about something, I make decision rather than complain. Now, this slide or this picture is one from Dr. Stephen Covey, one of the greatest authority in leadership, Dr. Stephen Covey, and he was the one that popularized this concept of sphere of influence and the sphere of concern and sphere of control. And what does this thing mean? So now we're all Nigerians. Everybody knows about the problem of Nigeria. Oh, it's corrupt. Nigeria is this, Nigeria is corrupt, the nation is that, blah, 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 blah. We know all the problems. Now, we are professional analysts. When you turn on our radio, it's about analysis. But the world does not need more analysts, The world needs problem solvers, leaders. And I bet you to show me any leader across history that you respect. There is something about them. They step out to solve the problem of their time. That is leadership. It's not about complaining. It's about stepping out to meet the need of the hour. So when you stop focusing on what you cannot control, oh, Nigeria is bad, there is no job, all of those things are fine. But the thing is, what can you do in your own sphere of control? What can you do in your own family? What can you do in your community? What can you do in your church? What can you do at work? Everybody can blame others. It's very cheap. Followers blame. They lay the responsibility of their lives and becoming on others. Leaders take decisions to make things better. Nelson Mandela was known for solving the problem of appetite. He stepped out for the need of the hour. Martin Luther King Jr. was known for the emancipation of Black people. He fought for equal rights for all Americans, for Black Americans. That was a problem he solved. Name any great leader across history. They were known for what they did, not for what they said, not for what they think, but for what they did. Begin to develop your own leadership by doing something. Don't worry about what you cannot change. And what I have learned, and this is so important, this is very important. The more, you see, this is so powerful. The more you give yourself to what you can do, God begins to expand your opportunity. God begins to expand your influence. God begins to connect you with people, opportunity, resources. All you need to do is just to focus on what you can control. It's a principle that God has built into nature. Focus on, as you give out the little you have, God multiplies it. I'm going back to the scripture. It was 5 loaves and 2 fishes. But as they gave it, the Lord himself, so you keep giving what you have. Focus on what you can do. Find a little problem to solve. And as you do it, the Lord increases. As you do it, opportunities come. Your influence increases. More people join you. You don't need to be big to start. But when you start, you have potential to become big. So focus on your sphere of control. And the Lord and nature begins to increase your sphere of influence. And you are able to impact those things more and more, more and more, more and more. I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to read it. It said, problems are the seeds of leadership. Leaders don't complain, they act. Leaders take ownership of the process of change. Become responsible. Stop complaining. Complaint doesn't help anybody. Complaint doesn't change anything. Followers grumble, but leaders make decisions. Leaders take action. Leaders step forward. That is what leadership is about. Taking on responsibility, owning the process of change. Contributing what you can, not complaining about what you cannot change. Contribute what you can. Do what you can with the little resources you have. That is the foundation of becoming a great leader, an effective leader. Number 5, and this is very important. I know we know this. You must be a lifelong learner. Have a commitment to lifelong learning. Have a commitment to lifelong learning. We live in a very fast-paced world. It's a very fast-paced and ever-changing world. But so if you cannot rely on, have you had people that you used to respect about 20 years ago? I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking like someone that is so old. I'm not, and a point came where you stopped listening to them. Maybe somebody on your street, you used to look up to them as a leader. You used to respect them. But the time came, you outgrew them. Why? Because they stopped growing. If you are a level 8 as a leader, you can never follow a level 7 leader. So you must consistently be growing. Growing, you must continually be learning. And I want to say this, have a growth mindset. Have a growth mindset. This is powerful. Don't have a fixed mindset. Don't build your confidence on what you think you know. Have, in technology, we call it being agile, being flexible, being open to change, keep learning, keep improving, fail fast, fail forward. Don't be too proud of what you think you know, but be a consistent learner. Attend conferences. Let your learning let it be planned, let it be intentional, let it be consistent. Don't, you see, when you begin to refer to what you did, we were the one who did that. I remember back then when I was in secondary school. I remember back then in my university days. It's okay every once in a while to talk about those things. But when you see yourself always talking about the things you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's an indication that you're not progressing. When what you did yesterday is so big in your heart, it's so big in your mind, it's so big in your talk, it's always dominating your thoughts and conversation, it's an indication that you are not growing. You are not growing. Imagine if, about 8 years ago, thereabouts, it used to be Apple iPhone 6. Oh, I don't know what, please forgive me. Maybe it was Apple iPhone 6 or yeah, I think iPhone 6, iPhone 7, whatever it was. There was a time Apple iPhone 4. But you know why Apple remains on the cutting edge of innovation and creativity of cutting edge products and technology is because they keep learning, they keep growing. They could have said, oh, yeah, we created iPhone 6 was one of the best then. But can you compare the features and the capabilities of the latest iPhone now to what they used to have then? So if you refuse to grow in a very fast changing world, you will be like a flip phone in a world of iPhone. Those dumb phones, the one we used to press like that. If you refuse to grow, the world will leave you behind. So you must consistently grow. And you see, I wrote something about intellectual capital. Those who own capital are the ones who rule the world. And there are different kinds of capital. If you are going to be a leader, you must have knowledge capital. Knowledge capital. And it's not something you get at once. It's you must build your knowledge. It's like compounding interest. You keep building. You keep building. You keep building. You keep increasing. Don't rest on your horse. Don't rest on what you used to know. Be intentional. Be consistent. Don't celebrate past achievements. Your success yesterday is the enemy of your goal tomorrow. Don't, and that's why Jim Collins will often say, good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. Success in the past could be an enemy of your future aspiration. So be a continuous learner, be learning, be growing, have a growth mindset. All right, I will move quickly to the next slide. And this is very powerful. I'm just going to, lead through it very quickly. I love this Greek proverb. It says, a society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they never sit. That's a Greek proverb. I know there's been different alteration of that. But what makes people great as leaders, is not what they do for themselves. Leadership begins with us, but it never ends with us. Leadership is about sowing our lives as seed for the betterment of others. Leadership is about service. It's about sacrifice. It's about selflessness. It's about discovery of yourself, growing yourself, and giving your best to the world. That is what leadership is about. Giving your best to the world. Leadership is not about self-aggrandizement. It's not about you. It's about using your life, sowing your life as a seed to make life better for others that are coming behind you. That is what leadership is about. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the great historical figures I respect. He said, you have not begun the journey of leadership until you plant trees under whose shade you will never see. That's just like another variation of this Greek proverb. So it's not about you. Leadership is about others. Serve others. Real leaders serve others. The greatest gift, the greatest satisfaction that comes from leadership is when you are gone, or when you're even around, you can go everywhere and people will like, oh, thank you. And thank you, Pastor Femi, for some of the good things you said about me. That, to me, is more than money. Leadership is not what you are able to achieve for yourself. It's about what you can help other people achieve. Great leaders have a legacy thinking. They are thinking about others. They are building bridges that helps others' journey to be successful. When, as leaders in our home, as fathers, for those of us who have children, one of my goals as a father is to ensure that my children's life becomes better than mine. It's a legacy mindset. And I'm going to close with this. It's a quotation from our Lord Jesus Christ. And I've actually known this Bible verse since I was in primary 1. And the reason is because I attended a school. It's called Elijah. Elijah means fisher, or whatever it's called. So that quote was inscribed on our school badge. I will make you fishers of men. Now, this scripture is in Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. Jesus said, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Leadership is about unlocking the potential of the people. Leadership is helping people to experience more. Leadership is about empowering others. It's not about you. It's not about yourself. It's about others. I just wish leaders in Africa will know this. It's about others. It's about serving. It's not about amassing of wealth. It's not about you. It's not about, you see, you have not begun the journey of leadership if life is just about you, about my family, about my comfort, about my finances. See, all of that is in the realm of success. But leadership is when you step outside of yourself to serve a greater good in the life of others, a greater good in your community, a greater good in your country, a greater good, for the betterment of the world at large. He said, follow me and I will make you. So those who are following your leadership, their lives should become better. And that's where I want to just stop. I know I have really gone past my time. My apologies, Pastor Femi. Thank you so much, guys. It's
wow.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sir, I'm so full. Wow, so much to unpack. Hey guys, please, everyone in the platform, please, drop fire emoji. How was the session for you? Just drop an emoji to express your, the flame on this orb right now. These are principles. These are not quickly do this to get this, so this to get principles. Wow. It's like, sir, really, this is not hype. It's not the way they used to say in Nigeria that no caps. It's not saying no cap. So they look new to me. They look so real, so new. Like I'm not a leadership training. So heartfelt. Someone said so heartfelt. That's the word. Is so heartfelt. That is the word. Like, sir, we could feel the pulse. We could feel the resonance, the connection of, your words, the slide, everything. Thank you so much for being a blessing, sir. It's so much to unpack. So much. Please mute all mics, please. Shego, please help me mute mics there. So much to unpack. Thank you for being a blessing to us.
Thank you.
Every illustration, and I know you are just trying to, be, stay in the confines of our time. Not, they are so much, so deep. I have to be, screenshotting everything. My notes are filled up. So thank you so much, sir. I can keep saying thank you.
Thank you.
Won't leave
here. For having me.
Yes, sir. Amazing. So I like you to read through the chat box. People are, commenting from the teaching leadership felt new again. That's just it. From the teaching leadership, I have to read this. I really have to read this comment. I have to read it. Please prepare your questions. I really have to read this comment. Someone says my note was full. Fire. I can see fire. This so hard for God bless her. Someone said powerful. Someone said it's so refreshing and new. That's the word. It's so refreshing and new. Someone said thank you so much, sir. Someone said thank you so much, sir. Very deep. Someone said thank you so much for the session, sir. Thank you, sir. It's someone said from the teaching leadership felt new again. Someone said I truly couldn't leave my screen. Is refiring, almost making look like that's the word. He said almost making me look like a kid. I'm telling you, so full. Thank you so much. God help our heart again to truly desire to serve. That's it. So that's what you have done to us to, prune our heart, to help us set our heart in the right direction so that we can. It's really vision aligning. In fact, the place of discipline was mind-blowing. I've never heard these things before. Like, discipline is giving the requirement of a vision. So it's not about just being disciplined for being disciplined, but giving what your vision entails, what it requires. Thank you so much. We're going to take questions now. We are going to take teaching leadership with orphans. Cause it entered. Someone say, cause it entered. I love that. So powerful and mind-blowing. Thank you so much. So, Pastor Wale, sincerely, as we were taking the session, I know we are not done. And we're going to have a part two of this.
You're welcome. I'm not actually seeing myself on the screen. I hope I'm still visible.
Yes, I can see you so visible. So visible. Yeah,
I know you sent some questions that people sent to me, and then I tried to pick one of, about a couple of them, but that may, but depending on, what you want us to answer, I could go through those.
Hey, so I'm looking at, yes, maybe, all right. So maybe your preferred two from those questions. So what Pastor Wale is talking about now is the questions of the registration form we had. So there's a place for questions. We had like at at the point of compilation, which was yesterday evening, we had like 47 questions compiled. So we couldn't update those questions, but we had like 47 questions compiled yesterday. So I think personally, what we'll do now is you just take the best two that you feel you want to touch there. So, but now live questions now. Please, if you have your questions, you can either indicate with your hand or type it in the chat right now. So, personally, you can go ahead to start answering the ones you have penned down, and then we're going to now take the live sessions.
Sure. Thank you, Pastor Femi. All right. I just picked some randomly. It says what makes an authentic, and then I find out that we were able to cover some of them in the course of this in the course of the talk. You know, somebody said what makes an authentic leader. Now, if you look at that word authentic, its author is original. So I would say one thing that would make you an authentic leader is knowing yourself and being yourself. Knowing yourself and being yourself. Be honest. Let's, for instance, while I was teaching, at some point I wanted to, I just allowed myself to flow out. So be yourself. Discover your style. Some people are very authoritative in their style of leadership. Some are very democratic. Some are, some takes a collaborative approach to leadership. So whatever leadership style works for you, and depending on your own circumstances, what leadership, be yourself. Let your authentic self flow out, to meet the need. That's what I believe. That's, just let your real self come out beyond the don't try to be like another. Be who you are. So that is find yourself, develop your own style, and let it flow out. You see, when you are a leader, those people whom God has called you to lead, they will come to you. They will come to support that vision. You are not called to lead everybody. You are not called to lead in every sphere of influence. There is a place God has placed you, and God has given you the capacity to lead effectively in that area. But when you step outside that place, you're trying to speak like somebody, you're trying to do like someone else, you are mimicking what others, but you don't, that is not your place. Be authentic. Let your real self flow out. That to me is how to be an authentic leader. I remember Dr. Samadiyemi once said, he grew up under a leader that is a firebrand preacher. I think he was referring to Reverend Adegwe. You know how fast Baba used to teach back in the days. And he said he was also preaching and jumping and jumping. And they said, God told him one day, he said, you're going to cut your life in half if you continue this way. But if you see Reverend Samadiyemi is a leader in his own class. Reverend Adegwe is another leader in his own class. They are different, but each of them is authentic. So be authentic, be yourself, develop yourself, and stay honest. So that is number one. Another person asked, he said, how do I manage my time as a leader? Now, hello, can anybody hear me? I'm not seeing myself, so I'm not even...
Perfectly, sir. Can you hear you perfectly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can hear you.
Okay. Is my video working? I'm not...
Your video is working perfectly. Your screen is still on.
Okay. Then I'll just forget about seeing myself. Maybe it's okay there.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the screen now of the question you are asking presently.
Oh, okay.
So it's there now.
Okay, that's fine.
So do you want to share that, or you want to?
No, that's fine. I was actually thinking of how I think I changed the view setting. Oh, okay, I see that now. Thank you. I was thinking maybe I was no longer talking. Okay. All right. Somebody said, how do I manage my time as a leader? How do I manage my time as a leader? Now, you remember, This is very, I think virtually most of us struggle with this. Leadership and management, and we need both. We need managers and we need leaders. I'm not one of who will say, you don't need, no. We need managers and we need leaders. There are times a leader must step in to manage. And there are times, great managers are those who own their leadership skills. Now, management deals with efficiency, but leadership deals with effectiveness. Now, efficiency is the judicious allocation of the resources you have for maximum use. But so I would say that as a leader, effectiveness is about your purpose. What is your purpose? That's number one. Now, once you discover your purpose, prioritize what are the things that are important. What are the things that are important? See, don't spend time. Time is a limited resource. It's one of the greatest resources you have as a leader. Don't, know what matters. So that's where I'm going actually. Know what matters. Know what is important to you in your life. Know what is important. Know your relationship matters. Your relationship matters. Not when I talk about relationship, not everybody. No. Know those people that are very important in your life, your spouse, your children, there are people, perhaps the people you are mentoring, a couple of those, you should spend more time with them. Prioritize. If you look at the life of Jesus, sorry, I cannot but quote and talk about, Jesus. When you look at the life of Jesus, he prioritized everything. First, he prioritized his relationship with his Father. It doesn't, there was a day Jesus had a massive crusade in Peter's house, and the Bible says people were healed. And the next morning, Jesus had left very early to go and pray. And Jesus said, all men seek you. For Jesus, that's not my priority. My priority is to be with my Father. And from there, he went to another place. So let your purpose define the allocation of your time resources. There is this very popular principle, the 80-20 principle. Let your 80% of your time be devoted to let 80% of your time be dedicated to 20% of the things that are top in your priority list, and devote the rest 20% of your time to the 80% of those things at the bottom of your list. Prioritize the things that matter. So you must begin by knowing what matters. You cannot be everything to everybody. You are not called to do so. You cannot devote Christ did not even devote his time to the crowd. He devoted his time to fellowship with God. He devoted his time to prayer. He devoted his time to the 12 disciples. He devoted more of his time to the 3 apostles out of those 12. So it's about priority, knowing what matters. So that is that. Somebody said, as a leader, what does it take to, he said, what does it take to change the hearts of people that you are leading? When side talks breaks a leader, what is advisable for the leaders? One thing is this, no matter how much it's saying, what does it take to, I'm so sorry, this thing is messing up my screen. Okay, it said, as a leader, what does it take for you to change the heart of the people that you are leading? I don't know, maybe Pastor Femi will help me. He said, when side talk breaks a leader, what's advisable for the leader to do? Now, number one, know that it is not your responsibility to change the heart of people. No. You can only do your best. You can only give your best. But even the best of leaders, they will still have issues with people, the best. So don't that isn't what you can change. But one of the things you can do is to live a life of integrity. People will talk. You can't control that. People will backbite, but ensure that your life, ensure that your life is, you are continually living a life of value, a life of integrity. You see, those who go, those who speak about you, eventually, people will know the truth. So for me, I would say focus on what you are doing, focus on your purpose, lead by example, lead a life of integrity, and leave other things will follow. And also check your own self. Check your own self to be sure it's not you, like I need to check your own self too. So that to me would be, there are a lot of questions, but I don't know if I have the time. Maybe I should go through this very quickly. It said, who is a servant leader, and why is it important to be one? Now, I think we were able to touch on that. Servant leadership. I'm sure many of you have heard the word. It said people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. So a servant leader is the one who understands the purpose of leadership. That leadership is not about yourself. Leadership, I had that so much in my ears while I was in university. There was nothing if there's something I will never forget about my leadership group, being a part of Paris Fellowship, is they will say that again, that leadership is service, leadership is service, leadership is service. So a servant leader is the one who cares about the people. The Bible says something. It said, he who cares for them will lead them. He who loves them will lead them. So it's about loving people. Let your leadership stem from love. For God so loved that he gave. So that is the beginning. Know that leadership is not about you, it's about others. And value people. Value people. And that is one key thing, one issue I have with managers. Managers just want to get the job done. But leaders know that they're not supporting jobs, they are leading people. So value people, appreciate them for who they are. Not just for what they do for the organization. It's first, appreciate them as human beings. And be humble. Know that it is not about you. So I'm going to just stop there. Pastor Femi, maybe others have questions. Let me not just keep going through this.
Yes, sir. Amazing, sir. Wow. So if sir, this is a curriculum.
Yeah. I tried to just speak about 10 of those questions. I know some we covered. I said, okay, let me quickly just
I had to call my assistant to come see like that. We have a slide even for the question and answer. She mentioned a statement that intentionality, and these are things that, because I really desire that everybody participating in this right now could see these. These are questions that we asked online. And you can see the approach Pastor Wale is taking on them. So he's not casual about it. And that's excellence. That's intentionality. Because some things are taught, some are caught while being taught. So these are things to note. There might not be a series on this, but you just note, like, be intentional. I mean, I'm just falling in love with the question and answers. But Pastor Wale, there are questions waiting for us in the chat room. Sure. I can't wait for you to start doing justice to them. So I'm going to take them one after the other. If you can, touch on them 1 minute, 2 minutes, like a lot of questions. Sure. I think we have like 5. All right, so someone said, the first question says that, it says, on the path to self-discovery, how can I lead myself to greatness? So on the path to self-discovery, how can I lead myself to greatness? I don't know if you want me to read through them or we should take them one after the other.
No. Let's take them one after the other. So I don't get the question.
So this is the first question.
The path
to self-discovery, how can I lead myself to greatness?
How can I lead myself to greatness? Okay, I think the person, I'm not getting that question, but I'm going to take it this way. How can I lead myself to greatness on the path to self-discovery? Okay, I think the person first has somehow answered their own question. How can I lead myself to greatness? It begins
discover yourself.
Self-discovery. You understand? And self-discovery it's a very tough thing.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't want to critically look at our own lives. And if there is one strength God has given to me, and that it's about I'm always, examining my life. So self-discovery is not just about knowing the good things about yourself. It's also about knowing those things that are serving as a lead to your growth. What are the things that are limiting you? What are the wrong patterns in your life? Some people are lazy naturally. So do a personal SWOT analysis. What are my strengths? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Don't ignore your weaknesses. Don't ignore them. Of course, don't focus on your weaknesses. Number one, focus on your strength. Now, for weaknesses, don't lead from the place of your weaknesses. Now, when I say don't lead from the place of your weaknesses, I'm saying, except if they are character issues. But if, for instance, you do not have strength for mathematics, don't try to go and do your PhD in mathematics. You're trying to lead in the area of your weakness. So, number one, the pathway to greatness of leadership, I have said it, and I will say it again. Number one is self-discovery. Know everything about yourself. Know your purpose. Know your path. Know your pain. Know your passion. Know your dreams. Know the things that touches your heart. Know the strength. The strength are the things God has given to you innately to help you satisfy the purpose, to fulfill the purpose He has given to you. So know your strength. Know your weaknesses. If it is, manage your weaknesses. But if they are character issues, take care of them. Now, know the opportunities around you. For instance, now, I currently work as a technology consultant. But I know that my greatest strength, of course, I work as a productivity and a technology consultant. I do a bit of technology consulting, but I also do productivity consultancy. So my strength lies more in the people side of change management. My strength lies more in the productivity side of change. Not too much in the area of technology. So I have emphasis on the productivity side of change. I focus more on the people side of change. So focus on the place of your strength. Discover yourself. If there are patterns of, if there are wrong patterns in your life, and I think I touched on that in my first slide, know your lead. What are the things that are limiting you? It may be lack of discipline. It may be laziness. It may be your relationship. It may be your belief system. Know the things that are acting as a lead, just like that man that we saw in that bottle. Know those things and begin to take care of them. And know your opportunities. If I have to give my life to a cause, what should it be? Those are your greatest opportunities in life. Your grace is in your place, like I was saying earlier. That is the pathway. Self-discovery, self-development, and self-deployment, giving of your best self. So that is my best way to answer that question. That is how you become.
All right, so thanks so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So there is this next question. Thank you so much for the teaching. He said, my question is, how does one recognize or know his or her purpose, especially when such person is multi-talented person?
Yes.
So he said, how do I know my purpose, especially because I'm a multi-talented person?
Yes. And I remember one of the people that I love very much and that follow the teaching on leadership is also a very multi-talented person. Dr. Miles Monroe is it was multi-talented. He was an award-winning singer. He was a preacher. He was multi-talented.
Sorry, is it my network here? Shegun, could you hear him?
Yes, I can hear him.
Oh, can you hear me? Pastor Femi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think it's.
Oh, okay, I think Pastor Femi is not hearing me. Oh, okay, I think it's his network. So now let me continue while while Pastor Femi joins back. Now, you cannot. You said discovery of purpose. There are various ways to discover your purpose. Number one, to me, is when you have multi-talent, you have to choose at least one or two of them that you are willing to focus your life on. You see, the world doesn't celebrate generalists. Even though you are multi-talented, you must pick 2 to 3 of those great talents. The one you know you have the greatest strength. The one you know that is going to bring the greatest return for your life, for humanity. That is where you should focus your life on. That is, don't try to dissipate all of your energy trying to develop all of your gifts. No, it's never going to work like that. And sometimes it takes very tough decisions to make. Like I was saying about Dr. Mazmuro, Dr. Mazmuro was an award-winning singer. But the time came when he saw that God was calling him to teach and to preach. You know what he did? He has to disband his group of singers because he knows that there is a higher calling on his life to teach. So you cannot put you cannot afford to spread your time, your passion, your energy across various things. It doesn't, you see, there is something that is called the law of concentrated energy. The greatest virtue and value flows where you have decided to focus the greatest energy when you are concentrated. So look at 2 or 3 of those giftings on your life. Where can I put my life? Which one is going to bring the greatest return on investment? Which one is going to, which one of these? You can take it to God in prayer. You can look at the patterns of your own life. Which of these gives me the greatest opportunity? What do people around me call me? One of the ways, everywhere I get to, one of the first opportunities I get is pastoral. Anywhere I go, one of the first opportunities I get is pastoral opportunity. When I got to the United States, the first job that I got was as a pastor. So it's a signpost to my calling. So look at where is God opening doors for you more. It cannot be equal. That's number one. Where is God opening doors for you more? Number 2, where am I going to devote my life that I'm going to have the greatest return on investment? For me, my life will bring the greatest return when I teach people, when I sow the seeds of God's word in people's life. That when I pass that, it gives me the greatest satisfaction. It's not, you cannot devote it equally. So you must decide. For instance, perhaps if Dr. Mazmuro had been a singer, maybe he would have been so popular in in Bahamas, or maybe the world would never have heard of him. But he decided sometimes you have to let go of certain things. Of course, they are still there, but choose to focus. And back to the 80-20 principle, focus 80% of your time to develop the top 20 of those gifts. And you can then use 20 towards developing the other 80. But focus is powerful. The law of concentrated energy, like I said earlier. So that is my answer to that question.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. There is this question here. How can my self-esteem and personality type not negatively affect my leadership? How can my self-esteem and personality type not negatively affect my leadership?
Yeah. You see, I was talking earlier. I think I answered that question because it's a very important one. Maybe I did not. Okay. Oh, excuse me. maybe how can it not? Sorry, I think I messed it up, but that's fine. Let me just go on. Now, it's going to affect it negatively. It doesn't. It's not. It will definitely affect your leadership, because leadership, like I said, the foundation of effectiveness in leadership is how you see yourself. So you must realize that you cannot give it if you don't place value on it. So you must begin to see it's not how will it not, it will definitely. If you have negative self-esteem, you cannot be an effective leader. So it's not the question of how will it not affect it. Negative self-esteem will impact your leadership effectiveness. So the question is, how can you begin to see yourself in the light of God's word? How can you, one of the things that causes low self-esteem is when we compare ourselves with others. We compare our weaknesses with the strength of other people. We are called to fly as birds, but we want to compete with fishes in the ocean. So there is no way, no matter how much you try, you can never, as a bird, perform better than a fish in the ocean. So find your place. That is number one. That is one way to cushion effective negative self-esteem. Number two is one key thing, it could be a knowledge gap. It could be a skill gap. If it is a knowledge gap, see, there is something about knowledge that powers your self-confidence. Knowledge. No, if it is about knowledge, give yourself to learning. Give yourself to study. Give yourself to education. That is number two. So if it's about knowledge gap, fill that knowledge gap. Find your place. Fill that knowledge gap. Don't compare yourself to other people. Be grounded in your place. Somebody said, I magnify my office. I magnify my purpose. I magnify my place. So see yourself in the light of your own purpose. Don't compete with others. Find your place. Find your place of strength. Stop competing with others and improve yourself. And I was talking about having a growth mindset. Where you are now is not where you always be. Do you understand? So if it is something that's got to do with personal improvement, give yourself to it. And see yourself in the light of the word of God, in the light of the word of God, not in the light of your limitations, not in the light of your challenges, not in the light of what other people's opinion, not in comparison to others. See yourself as God has seen you. So that is how you can begin to improve your leadership. But negative self-esteem will impede and negatively impact on your leadership effectiveness. That is my answer.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Network did the first one on me. Yeah, I was thrown out at some point. I think all my chats are gone. Shagun, do you have access to? I think there are two last questions there that I had not scribbled down before network threw me out completely. Shagun, I don't know. Shagun, are you there?
Yes, sir. Let me quickly.
Do you have access to that? Yeah, please.
Yes, I do.
Or is the chat box still open? Okay.
Yes, I still open. Let me just
you can copy it. Yeah, you can just copy it to that chat box so that I can see it and take it. Good. Akoede, before that, your question, I think there was a question there. Okay, let's take this question. So thank you, sir, for the session. So, okay, I'm going to take this question by Akoede, both of them together. He asked two questions. He said, what are the exact principles that makes one remain on fire, fresh and ever hungry in their various leadership niche? And then he asked the same, this second question again, a follow-up question. Is there any fundamental, that is this man, fundamental and instructive material, book, audio, and programs as regard effectiveness in leadership you can recommend, sir, for a beginner, so to speak. So that's recommendation of a book on effectiveness in leadership. And then that first question is, what are the exact principles that makes one remain on fire, like hungry, you know, and fresh for your various leadership niches?
Yeah, number one, for the first, so let me take it one by one. Number one, what makes you fresh is having continuous growth. Don't rest on your past laurels. You know, Steve Jobs said, stay hungry, stay stupid. Now, staying hungry means don't ever be satisfied. Stay stupid means keep learning. Be curious for more. Don't be satisfied. Be always on the cutting edge of change. Have a growth mindset. You see, don't rely on what you used to know. Don't rely on what you knew. Don't rely on what you have done. Let's, consistently continue to have goals, new vision, new goals, new vision. Keep improving yourself. Have a growth mindset. Don't ever stop. It's a fast-changing world. It's a fast-changing world. So don't ever think what you knew yesterday. So if you want to stay on fire, somebody said leadership does not develop in a day, but it develops daily. Let it be daily effort towards growing. Keep growing. And I was saying something about having leadership, developing your leadership capital. So if it builds, there's something about the law of momentum. It keeps building, accumulate, keep growing, keep building it. Be hungry for growing. Have plans. Go for conferences. And why would you think people like Pastor Samadeyemi, why do you think they keep going for conferences? When you see him in USA is attending conferences. You see somebody will travel across states. You see him in Taraba State, going for, always be growing, be reading books. And I tell you the truth, the greatest leader, I see people who are lazy. They like to say things like, education doesn't make people rich. I think they don't know what education is. Real education, the richest people, the greatest leader, your Bill Gates of this world, your Warren Buffett of this world, your Mark Zuckerberg of this world, they are voracious learners. They love, and look at those people. People will say, oh, they don't, and they may not go to your formal school. They may not have your PhD, but they are learners. They keep educating their minds. So that is very important for you to be fresh. You must be on the cutting edge of change. Be a progressive learner. Don't let your confidence and don't let your confidence be on what you have done, on what you know. Be flexible. Have an agile mindset. Agile means you are always on the cutting edge of change. Be hungry. Stay stupid. Don't think you know. Be teachable. Go for more. Have new vision, new goals, new dreams, new aspirations. Let your life be you have a vision for life. And let me say this very quickly. Let's, always have the next goal, the next project, the next goal. Don't ever come to a point in your life where you don't have anything you are going after again. The moment you get to that point, then death starts setting in. And I'm not talking of physical death, but always have something. Stay hungry. The moment you are not eating, what happens?
You die.
You die. The same thing with leadership. The moment you stop feeding your mind, your heart, see, those things are food for your spirit, man. They are food for your mind. New goals, because there is something more to go after. It takes stretching. So that is how to stay fresh. I don't know what the second question is. So what book?
The book, yes, on effectiveness in leadership.
There are lots of books, but I would start with, you know, it's you'd be so surprised. I would say read your Bible more with open mind if you're a Christian. It's read your Bible more. But the Bible is, when I say let God teach you, that is number one. And I'm not saying religious reading. You know, I learned about change management just studying the book of Nehemiah, how to lead change. Nehemiah is one of how to lead change. I understood how to lead change just by reading the book of Nehemiah, how to, you know, envision new, to gather resources, to gather people. I understood by looking at Nehemiah. I understand personal development by looking at the life of Paul. I understand having the heart of leadership by studying the life of David. I understand selflessness by, you know, giving of yourself when I look at the life of Moses. So the Bible is replicate, you know, it's laden with so many understanding of the concept of, you know, on leadership. Now let me come, any book by Dr. John Maxwell. One thing I love about Dr. Maxwell is simplicity. So it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder, whether you are a CEO of a Fortune 100 company or you are a beginner with leadership, the Maxwell book will always, you know, meet your needs. And you can begin with the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's a powerful book. It's simple, but it's powerful. You know, there are so many books. Pastor Femi, maybe you would be able to help me. There are too many books.
So you've mentioned the basis, at least for now.
I'm sorry?
I said you've mentioned the basis for, at least for this conversation.
So I would say 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, you know, developing the leader within you. Becoming a Leader by Warren Bennis. The Goal Giver. There are a lot of books. The Goal Giver. Let me see the name of it. I love books. I'm not even sure which one to recommend, but I would say begin with Dr. John Maxwell's books. They are very simple, and it teaches from the heart of the Father. It doesn't teach to impress. It teaches to impact. So begin with his books. They're powerful. And if I could do a compilation of some of the books I have, you know, that are simple on leadership, and I could send this to the group later.
All right, no problem. We'll be willing to cascade it to him when that comes, when it comes. All right, so this is the last question, sir. This is the last question. He said, what can a person do if he finds himself in a place where he's being appreciated with words, but not with pay or resources? What can a person do? What can a person do if he finds himself in a place where he's being appreciated with words, but not with pay or resources? Also, I say thank you.
No. No. See, begin to look for. See, don't even let anybody deceive you. Appreciated with words, but not with resources. You need that resource. It's very important. So I would say it depends on where you are in your life. You know, but if you are just starting out, I would say don't let money be a driving thing. You know, somebody said you learn before you earn. So I don't know how old you are. I don't know, but if you have responsibility, you need that remuneration. It's very important. See, there are certain things that you need, you know, that expresses people's appreciation of your value. Number one is the kind of job you're doing. Is it a job that is meaningful? Are you appreciated in that job? But then are you being remunerated in exchange for the value? So if you can, like I said, I'm not able to do justice to that question until I know the circumstance surrounding it. You understand? So, for instance, I can, if you're just beginning, honestly, there are some workplaces that is much more than money. So if you're just beginning, you know, the founder of Alibaba, I can't remember his name now. You know, he said make between when you are 20 to 30, he said, let it be your learning years. The learning years. He said, from 30 upward becomes your earning years. So if you, depending on the circumstance, you know, so if you think you have served enough and it's time for you are not being remunerated, no, you know, it should come in a full package. Do you understand? So you cannot just be in a place that is not giving you your money worth. And if you see, I know one of the ways to say, oh, don't think about money. Please think about money. Money is very important. You need money to take care of your needs. You need money to take care of your family. So money is important, but depending on where you are in the journey, if you're just at the early stage and you don't have so much responsibility, as long as you think you are learning so much. See, number one of the key remuneration that the best thing you can get is what you are becoming on that job. So if you are becoming more and more on that job, then it's very important, because I've used, there are people who will leave a high-paying job to a lesser-paying job because, number one, that job is touching something more in their heart. So it's not just about money, but money is an important factor. So I won't be able to tell you yes or no to leave that place until I have understanding of, okay, the person said is a student. Okay, so if you're still a student, so I would think, please, money shouldn't be a driving force for you now. No.
Learning.
No. Yeah, learning should be. I tell you the truth. See, one of the greatest moments of my life, you know, was when I was serving as an executive of Caris Fellowship International. I learned the things I understand about leadership. My foundational knowledge on leadership was in the place of serving. So when you are in school, please, money shouldn't be, no. Money shouldn't, please find a place to serve. And that is why, have you seen people, there was a time I wanted to join a leadership coaching course. I think it's by Mark, the guy that wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul. Victor, okay, I'll remember now. And Jack Canfield is the person I was trying to remember. Jack Canfield, there was a leadership coaching course he was offering, and it was, I think it was about $15,000. $15,000. So, you know, it's not giving me money. I want to go there to join it because of the value. So look at the value you are getting. Look, are you following a leader that is pouring so much in your life? Yes, that is more than money, because those little things, I find that those are the best place to learn leadership. And the lessons, those foundational lessons on leadership, is the foundation for a great life. It was in the place of offering my free service that the Lord begins to open the doors of the world to me. That was where I got my wife. That was where I got, you know, I don't want to talk more here, but please, like I said, if you're a student, let learning be a priority, not earning at this point. You're still going to earn.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. This is, please, guys, if you're still up here, just help me put those emoji there. We're rounding off. I mean, Wale has done justice to all the question. Thank you, sir, thank you to your family and the Stresslin and the children for allowing us to use part of your time this Sunday. It's been awesome. I see how she has shown us love. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
And happy birthday to you too, Ma. Happy birthday. Yesterday was a birthday. You know, thank you so much, Ma, for giving that concert. I know that Pastor Wale, it's been a blessing. I personally would have to watch this. I personally would have to watch it so that I can really say, like, I can sit down well and enjoy every moment. It's so much to unpack. But we have to go. We have to go now. We have to go now. Thank you for being a part of this. Everyone on board, thank you everyone for being a part of this. You've been a blessing. I mean, these are the bases of leadership. You could get and feel the impulse from the heart. Like Pastor Wale was saying, it's first about being. In fact, that's why we are called human being. Before we are now called human doing. You know, but some people, they just do before. So there's a being. And you can see everything. Once it resonates, it flows out from that point. Then every other thing takes shape. As you could see all of them coming out from Pastor Wale, and then there is a resonance. So, and this is the same way I want you to go into this week or the month coming with your own personal conviction, with things you're intentional about. See the way Pastor Wale was answering the question, the intentionality. Even the question we asked online, even the intentionality. Wow. I mean, that means I'm still calling, you know. I'm learning work. My selection is learning work. But Pastor Wale, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We have to go now.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow, there's a lot of thank you on the hub, on the chat box right now. Thank you, ma. Once again, I love you. I know it's been a long time. I saw you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you. I could see all your names. I can start calling names now so that we can just, go. Thank you for being a part of this. We're going to send a follow-up message to you just to make you serve as a reminder for all that you have learned in this meeting. My name is Femi TIAMIYU, and I'm the convener of this meeting. And Pastor Wale is my host, my mentor, and and very soon you'll hear more from us from these quarters. All right. So for now, have a wonderful night rest. Have a good afternoon. Have a good morning from anywhere in the world you are participating from. All right. And yeah, my guy at the back end just said I should mention this Unleash. I don't want to advertise any products on this platform before. But then, because the space is open for those that are outside of I coordinate the affairs of leaders' quarters. So we empower a kid of leaders to be effective, productive, empowered. So we're having this live convergence of all persons in our platform. Between 2,000 to 3,000 persons have passed through our leadership development ops. We have our Telegram group, like between 2000 and I had not tracked the last count because some said just finished in this October and then they're joining the Telegram group. So it's a massive up. So this year, December, we are meeting live in Lagos because most of our meetings have been virtual. So it's reminding me now to mention it. Perhaps you are not on Leaders Quarters platform and then you want to be a part of this in Lagos. You want to join us for this 4 days boot camp. 4 days boot camp between 15th to 18th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to send more message to you as regards that in case you might want to be a part of it. There is no force about it because we are a community, but we are just extending out the hands to external persons who might want to be a part of it. Of course, it's not free because we have to feed you for those days. We have to accommodate you. We have to give you your souvenirs. We have facilitators coming around. I mean, a whole lot of stuff, dinner, events, a gathering where you will see leadership being played in real life, So, but we're going to complicate all of that in further emails being sent out. Thank you. So if you want to know more about the things that I do, the services that I render, you can just use Linktree Femi TIAMIYU, or just send me a personal message on WhatsApp, and then reply our email and then we'll get across to you through that. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We are ending this meeting right now. Thank you. Shego, please take it away. Thank you, Pastor Wale. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Presley. Thank you so much, Bob. I am really good. I feel so fulfilled tonight. Oh, take me away, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Good night, everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. We'll release it, sir. All right. Let's see. Okay. What am I to do now? Is it leave or end? Okay. Trying to check. Stop recording for now. Make sure to stop the yes. All right, thank you for stopping it. And then the YouTube to be able to stop that. Okay. I think once it's ended, everything should stop. Shago. Hello, Shago, are you there? All right, so once we leave, is okay.